This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to look at the Kindle Fire HDX 8.9. This is obviously the bigger companion to the HDX, which is a 7-inch tablet, 8.9 inches, super high resolution display, same fast Snapdragon quad-core CPU, and we're going to look at it now. So this is the Kindle Fire HDX 8.9, Amazon's latest Kindle for the fall 2013 shopping season and beyond. It starts at $379 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi model. $50 more, $429, will get you 32 gigs of storage, and $100 more, or $479, will get you the 64 gig model. So they're not abusing you as much on price as some other makers who we shan't quite name, who charge you a lot more for every storage increment upgrade. Very nice, Amazon, but you know their goal in life is to get everybody to buy one of these, and they really don't want to make a whole lot of profit on it, because they're going to make a profit on the services, the books, the stuff that they sell you using this device. If you want it with LTE, it will be available with AT&T or Verizon, your choice, 4G LTE and 3G. That's going to add $100 to the price tag. So we're not talking a cheap tablet here, despite the fact that Amazon really does do a lot of price cutting to be bleeding edge competitive. It's at $379. You know, Android tablets have unfortunately been defined by their price an awful lot, so cheaper is better. So this is not super cheap. The 7-inch Kindle Fire HDX, that is only $229, same price as the Nexus 7 2013 edition. That seems like a super duper bargain. But that said, you get some good stuff for your money right here. First off, this beautiful screen, IPS display. This is better than full HD, 2560 by 1600 resolution. We're not a stranger to that resolution, because we've seen it on the Nexus 10 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition. But those are bigger displays, 10.1 inches. This is an 8.9 inch display, so you've got your pixels squeezed even tighter, things look even sharper. Besides the 339 ppi pixel density, this has 100% sRGB color coverage. That means very good, very lifelike, very natural colors. So Amazon does a great job with their displays, and they know that two things you're going to be doing a lot of here is reading, and you're going to really want a sharp display. And the other thing is they're hoping you're going to watch a lot of Amazon Prime videos on this. Of course, you can watch YouTube and other stuff too. And things are going to look so good on here. I mean, you're going to think, wow, nothing looks prettier than an Amazon Prime Video, because colors are so great. And the contrast is very good, and it has adaptive contrast too, depending on the ambient lighting conditions and what you're looking at the time. And you're not limited to just Amazon Prime videos on this. You can do things like install Netflix. Like if we take a look at our application drawer, you can see it's freely available. Right there we have it. So with this, you don't have access to the Google Play Store, and we're not going to go over every single facet of this, because we covered a lot of this in our Kindle Fire HDX review, but you're going to use the Amazon App Store, which actually has a nice, healthy ecosystem of apps. Pretty much all the popular apps are going to be on there. The one thing that's missing is some of the high-end games, because Kindle Fires have not really had great CPUs. That's changing here. With the HDX series, you get a Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 2.2 gigahertz quad-core CPU with Adreno 330 graphics. That's about the best CPU you can get for a mobile OS device right now. That's cutting edge on Android, so this can really handle anything you throw at it, including demanding games like we have Asphalt 8 right here. So new for the Kindle experience. As to which size you like better for gaming, that's up to you. A bigger screen can be more fun, but it means a little bit more to hold. That said, this thing is incredibly light. It's 13 ounces, 13.2 ounces to be exact, so less than a pound, less still than the new iPad Air. So it's not a real heavy thing to wield if you're playing accelerometer-based games. If you're holding it to read, it's no burden. The Fire HDX runs Fire OS 3.0. Amazon finally decided to give it a name, and they codenamed that Mojito. We have our front webcam up here, works with Skype, and our 7-inch model also has the same feature, but something that's different here is camera on the back. 8-megapixel camera and an LED flash, so that's actually a pretty nice camera, not a cut-rate camera, and it does take pretty nice shots. They redesigned it from the last generation HD, which had a kind of curved back with an almost glossy racing stripe where the stereo speakers were. Now the stereo speakers are up top, so much better than having the speakers on the side where your hands would probably block them when you're holding it like this. It's got that kind of angled cut design, soft touch finish here, glossy plastic up at the top. You know, Amazon has never made a really drop-dead gorgeous product, and for the money you say, well, that's fair. And this is not drop-dead gorgeous, but it's not bad either. And the canted sides are actually pretty ergonomic and easy to hold on to. Buttons are on the back, just like the 7-inch version. Then we have the power button right here, and we have the volume here. Pretty scalloped down and tactile, so you can feel them. Still not as convenient probably as something on the side where you can take a look at it, but you'll probably get the hang of it when you've been holding it for a while. So there they are. Stereo speakers here up top are enhanced with Dolby audio, and just like the Kindle Fire HD last generation models and the 7-inch HDX, really surprisingly loud, spacious, good audio here. Loud enough to combat the noise of my exercise bike when I use this to watch movies while I'm exercising, and not hissy, not nasty sounding, pretty good bass. I mean, it's still a tablet. You're not talking an 18-inch Alienware with nice big speakers built in, but best audio experience I've ever heard on a tablet. And yes, it does beat the iPad Air in that respect. There is no HDMI port on this. We do have our micro USB port. You can use that to transfer your own files to the tablet if you want to. You can put your own books on here if you have them, your own movies. As long as they're supported formats, it's going to work. It does have Miracast wireless display. That's the latest rage in wireless displays that probably nobody has built into their TV or anything yet, but if you're future looking, it's there. And they're going to have a second screen feature. It's supposed to work with the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Samsung TVs, where your TV becomes the main screen where the movie will play back, or the TV show that you're watching, using this guy right here, but you'll still have access to the UI here, so you can actually use this to do something else while you have something playing on your TV. As with most all mobile OS tablets, the battery is sealed inside. Amazon claims 12 hours of mixed use. That includes some video playback and 18 hours of reading time. It goes into low power mode when you're reading and powers down subsystems that aren't needed. And so far, we've easily gone 10 hours to 11 hours on a charge in mixed use. Now, if you're doing a whole lot more streaming video playback in HD, full HD, for example, Amazon Prime does stream in 1080p to this guy. You might get a little bit at the lower end of that range, but still very good battery life. Good job there, Amazon. The UI, though it gets a new name and a new revision here, it's the same carousel-based kind of thing, and it works in portrait or landscape mode. It gets better and better looking. Things are not so stretched out and weird, and you can switch between your games, shop, your apps, your books, music. Videos takes you to Amazon Prime Video by default. So pretty easy to use, and if we're using it in portrait mode like so, that's how it looks. So very usable. And books look great on this too. And if we go into the main home screen, you can see that that's evolved also. I've got the book I looked at most recently right here, applications that I've used, and it scrolls through so you can get to them quickly. It has, of course, suggestions of related things, stuff, books, music, whatever it is that it might want to sell you, because, of course, Amazon has a big music store too. And applications, and you can actually bring it up to get to more of your applications. So it's a pretty convenient launcher at this point. Certainly, though, this runs Android 4. Jelly Bean, you wouldn't really recognize it, would you? Only when you do things like go into settings right here. It starts to look a little bit more like Android, and your options are here. You can set it to allow to install non-marketplace apps. So for those of you who want to sideload your own applications, like I put Gmail on here, I put the YouTube player on here, you can do that if you're resourceful and a little bit geeky, and you get a hold of those APKs or installation files for those applications that you want, in case there are things that are not available on the Amazon store, like, for example, Gmail is not. Has an ambient light sensor, pretty bright screen, certainly bright enough for this bright room for reading it, and books look quite nice. I mean, at this crazy, lovely resolution right here, given the screen size, that is just nice, sharp text, and I have it set to be pretty small type right now. And if you like facing pages, if we turn it into landscape mode, you can get facing pages too. I know some of you, especially if you're coming from the iPad and iBooks that has that feature, become fond of that. And this screen is large enough where I think that's actually pretty comfortable and worthwhile. And the 7-inch model doing facing pages is like a little teeny bit of text, little teeny bit of text. So this is kind of a nicer layout. Because I'm just a devilish person, I installed Nook on here as well. I sideloaded that. So for those of you who are a little bit bookstore agnostic and you buy Amazon content but you have stuff elsewhere, you actually can do that. And this way you can read EPUBs too, because the B&N Nook app supports sideloading of EPUB books too, so you don't have to do your own conversion for those of you who are into that. So kind of handy little thing to be able to do there. You do get calendar, you do get contacts, those can sync to Google. You do get the standard email application, you can see it right here, and you can actually have that set to check your Gmail account if you want to. So you can get to Gmail, you just don't get that dedicated Gmail app unless you shoehorn it in yourself. This is all about cloud and streaming stuff. So anything that you have on Amazon, on your Amazon Cloud Drive, is accessible with this. And obviously, any Prime videos that are free with your Prime membership, if you have one, you'll get any videos you bought from Amazon you can stream. You can also set it to download them. Say you know you're going to be on an airplane, although suddenly airlines are going to start letting us using our electronics now. They might not let us use our wireless radios. Anyway, you can actually download directly to the device if you want, if you know you're not going to have internet access. Same thing goes with music library, Amazon Music right there, their MP3 store, and applications. Obviously, it's pretty handy. If you go to apps right here, you can see the things I have on the device and all the stuff in my account. So anything that I've gotten from the Amazon App Store, I can download to here, just as simple as a tap on it. You'll see a little check mark next to it if you've already downloaded it. Now, magazines are rarely where I think the bigger display is just a great selling point, because the magazines are still, generally speaking, laid out like a print layout, so the text can be pretty darn teeny. And this makes it readable without having to do a whole lot of zooming, if any zooming at all. Everything looks beautiful and it looks sharp. You can do sideways facing pages mode if you want, but that will tend to make things look a little bit too teeny there unless you want to do a lot of zooming. But if you stick with this layout right here, things are very readable and gorgeously sharp. Honestly, digital magazines, be it Amazon's or Zinnios, they just do an excellent job of presentation there. A little bit less comfortable on an HDX 7 for sure. And we also have quick access to sections. There's all sorts of features. It somewhat depends on which magazine you're looking at, but generally a very nice experience on the HDX 8.9. For a web browser, we have the Silk web browser. That's Amazon's web browser with caching. You can disable the caching if you find it actually makes things slower instead of faster. And it's a capable enough WebKit web browser. I also sideloaded Chrome on this too. And honestly, the Silk browser is pretty nice. And if you're on a text-heavy page, there's a reading option mode that I find actually works better than the one on iOS and the iPad, because that sometimes seems to truncate parts of the page and leave it out. So it's fast, it's capable, it's smooth. The text is pin sharp. Colors are great. Pretty readable. It's a big enough display that even if you don't zoom, if you're holding it in landscape mode, it'll work. And it can play embedded HTML5 YouTube videos just fine as well. This is available on 3 out of 4 U.S. carriers. That means AT&T. About 2/3 volume control. It's pretty loud. And you can go to YouTube either using the browser and just go to youtube.com and get the mobile-friendly version of that, or if you sideload YouTube like I did. There it is. And we'll take a look at our own channel. Let's see, here we have the YouTube app running, which I've sideloaded. This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to look at the Samsung
Plays just fine, looks great.
Finally, this is the AT&T version, one of the first reviews you're going to see.
And this is using Wi-Fi. This has dual band 802.11n Wi-Fi with MIMO, so it has good reception and good throughput. Very reliable. Also has Bluetooth for those of you who need Bluetooth. No NFC here though. No haptic feedback, which means no vibrating on the display, but you can have things like audible key presses on the keyboard, and the keyboard is pretty good, pretty darn usable. And that's what our keyboard looks like with the press and hold to get things like the numbers. And so now we're going to test out gaming with Asphalt 8, which is a beautiful game, really, quite demanding, very nice high-resolution graphics. And let's talk a little bit about benchmarks first. On Quadrant, this scored 19,021, which is very competitive with other Snapdragon 800 CPU-equipped Android tablets. On 3D Mark Ice Storm, the Extreme test, it scored 10,406 and 41.2 frames per second in the demo, which is lower than the Kindle Fire HDX 7-inch because, well, this one has to push more pixels around, so the higher you go in resolution, typically you'll see that number drop, but that's still a very respectable number. Anyway, let's go ahead and race and see how it goes. Absolutely gorgeous looking. Whoa. You see the particle effect right there for the water. Plays beautifully, very smooth. It's a game where you often see some frame drops, but I'd say this is just darn good. So that's Asphalt 8 on the Kindle Fire HDX 8.9. Kindle Fire HDX also has Amazon's new Mayday feature. You can just swipe down, hit Mayday, and you can have somebody start a video chat with you one way, so you see them, they don't see you. You can do it naked if you want. It's up to you. But anyway, that makes this a great gift for your less tech-savvy friends and relatives, because when they have problems the day after Christmas or whatever holiday you happen to be celebrating, they can go bug Amazon instead of you. And that leads to, who is this product for? Now, it's great for newbies. It really is very easy to use. Amazon has great service and support. You've got the Mayday feature now to help you with a lot of things, but obviously still, Kindle products are for those people who are really into the Amazon ecosystem first and foremost. It gives you super duper easy access to shopping on Amazon, be it the books, the magazines, the music, Prime videos, non-Prime videos, all of that stuff, and even an Amazon shopping app just to shop on Amazon in general. Yes, it runs Android, but yes, it's a very customized version of Android with no access to the Google Play Store unless you want to get adventurous and try to root it and stuff like that. So for those of you who are looking for a general purpose Android tablet, this isn't quite so much that. But if you just want to read books, play videos, listen to music, particularly if your content all came from Amazon, awesome choice. Of course, you can sideload your own books, your own music, your own movies too, so you're not super duper limited in that particular way. Also nice, has a pretty good rear camera on it, something that we don't always see, especially in anything less than a $500 tablet. And particularly the 8.9-inch size, it's so light, it's so easy to hold, yet the screen is so high resolution. I think that really kind of sets the HDX 8.9 apart from a lot of other tablets. Not as bulky as 10-inch tablets, yet it has the superb display and the fast CPU. So that can be tempting to some of you who are looking for a general purpose tablet, but you don't really have to have access to Google Play. And you can live with the very wide selection of apps on Amazon's App Store. So that's the Kindle Fire HDX 8.9. It's available just starting now. You might have to wait a little bit to get one from Amazon, or you might find it in your local store as well. Again, if you're looking for a bigger screen tablet, particularly for that video experience and for viewing magazines, this one is a nice choice over the 7-inch model. It's going to cost you more, granted, but wow, what a fantastic screen, and really it's a lot more fun watching videos on a bigger display as well. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to visit our website for the full review of the Kindle Fire HDX and HDX 8.9, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.